All right, for homework on 2-2, you guys had to do questions 3, 6, and 11. So let's take a look at number 3. Number 3 just says, which is the value of 6n minus 10 when it's equal to 4n plus 6? All right, remember when you have variables on both sides, we need to get the variables all to one side. So we're going to start with the n's. So I'm going to take this 4n and I have to move that whole thing. So I'm going to subtract 4n from both sides. The 4n's will eliminate and I would get 6n minus 4n is 2 times n minus 10 equals 6. Now I want to put these constants all to the right side. So I'm going to have to get rid of the minus 10 by adding 10 to both sides. Those would become 0, and I'm left with 2 times n equals 16. Now to solve for n, I do the opposite of times 2, which is to divide by 2 on both sides. So n would be 8. And remember, we do want you to check. Whenever you're solving, you should check 2 to make sure you're right. So you're going to rewrite the 6n minus 10 equals 4n plus 6. You're going to substitute in, instead of 6 times n, we're going to put our answer in. Instead of 4 times n, we're going to put 8. And I would get 48 minus 10 is 38. And let's check this side. 32 plus 6 is also 38, so that checks. All right, flip it to the next page where number 6 is. Number 6, this is like the question we did for practice. A town's population is 43,425. About 125 people move out, so we're going to take that number of people away from the population. And then 200 people on average move in, so we're going to have to add on 200 people. Another town nearby has a population of 45,000. No one's moving in, so we're not going to add anything. But an average of 150 people move away, so we're going to have to subtract that 150. So we're looking for an equation that models that situation. So in the first town, there's a population of 43,425. We would subtract 125 and add 200 people to that 43,000. So if I look at that, in the first one where the 43,000 is, they just show 150 people moving in. So that can't be it, because we've got to show 125 people moving out and 200 moving in. So if I go to that here, it's a positive 200 and subtracting 125. So that could be it. If I look here, they're adding both because they're both positives, so that's not it. And if I go down to the last choice, they're just subtracting the people moving out, and it's the wrong number. So the only correct choice could be B. So if I use that equation, 200 per month moving in, minus 125 per month moving out, plus the population of 43,425 would be equal to the other town of 45,000 people, and then they have 150 people moving out per month. So they want to know how many months will they be equal. So we're going to first combine some like terms. 200m minus 125m. Those both have m, so we can combine them. If you're not sure, use your calculator to combine them. And we would have 200 minus 125, which would be 75 people a month. And it's positive, so there's 75 people a month per month moving in to 43,425. There's nothing to combine on the other side, so I'm going to just bring all that down. Now we need to start getting the variables all on one side. So I want to move all of this to the other side. So I would add 150 people per month so that they are eliminated from this side. And I'm going to add that right under this M. Okay, so if I add that, I'm going to get 225 people per month plus 43,425. Now I need to get these constants together. So I need to get rid of the constant from this side. So I'm going to subtract 43,425. So now those will be gone from this side. So on my calculator, if I do 45,000 minus 43,425, I get 1,575. And I'm left with 225 people per month. So to solve per month, to find out the number of months, I would divide by 225. And in my calculator, if I do that, 1,575 divided by 225 would be 7. So that means the population would be the same in 7 months. Okay, so that was number 6. Now we're going to flip and go to number 11. There's part A and B for that. You and a friend are doing math homework together. You have to solve the equation 5x plus 4x minus 68 equals 34 minus 8x. Your friend says that an incorrect answer is x equals -2. Let's find the correct value. Well, if I did that correctly, I see that on this side of the equation there's x's that I can combine. So I would get 9x's minus 68. And on this side there's nothing to combine, so I'm going to just bring that down. So remember, we need to get all the x's or the variables to one side. So I have to do the opposite of minus 8x, which is to add 8x's to both sides. Then I would get 17x's minus 68 equals 34. So the opposite of subtracting 68 to move the constant over would be to add 68 to both sides. And I would have 17x equals 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, would get 102. Okay, to find the value of x, we'd have to divide by 17 on both sides. Check that in your calculator. 102 divided by 17 would give me 6. So the correct value is x equals 6, but our friend got x equals -2. So you guys need to decide, what did your friend do wrong? Should your friend have added 8x to each side of the equation, but instead they subtracted 8x? So here where we added 8x, did they subtract 8x? So go through and see if that's what they did wrong. Or your friend should have added 5x and 4x to get 9x, which we did, but instead they got a 10x. So if you were to change that to 10x, would that have got them their answer, x equals -2? Or your friend should have added 68 to each side of the equation like we did here. We added 68, but instead your friend subtracted 68. So if we subtracted 68 on both sides, see what you would get. Okay, so you guys determine, is it A, B, or C to get x equals -2?